Shalom, brothers. It is another day at the Ankh G campus, and I'm going to be talking about the Iliad and the death of Patroclus, where Achilles is sulking in his tent, refusing to fight, and so he sends Patroclus out to wear his armor. In wearing his armor, the Achaeans believe that Achilles has joined the fight, and they're rallied. And Patroclus kills Sarpedon, the king of Lycia, grandson, I believe, of Zeus. And Zeus foresees this. He has, divine foresight, but he's obedient to fate. He is almighty, but he must obey fate, or Kronos. And so he is distraught over the death of his son, but there's nothing he can do to stop it because he wants the gods to stop intervening on behalf of the humans in this war. And this is something that he really struggles with. And in the same way that Zeus weeps to the point of raining blood upon the earth over the death of his son Sarpedon, who was slain at the hands of Patroclus, we see a similar something similar happened with Achilles and how he weeps over Patroclus, who's slain by Hector. In the movie Troy, Hector does not know that it is Patroclus that he's killing. He believes he's killed Achilles. That's why Achilles says, you won't have ears tonight, you won't have eyes or a nose, you'll wander the underworld, deaf, dumb, and blind, and all the dead will know, behold, Hector, the fool who thought he killed Achilles. But in the book, Hector is well aware, and there's actually sort of a tag team going on in taking down Patroclus. Several different characters get in on the action, throwing spears, and a lot of the Iliad, very little of the text of the book moves the plot. Most of it is just back and forth violence. And in a society where you don't have movies or visuals, it also, remember, it rhymes, so this is somewhat, maybe this is a overly modernist anachronism, but it would be somewhat like a heavy metal song, where it's this aggressive, violent, warlike poetry with sporadic motion, areas of the text which have an immense pathos and actually move the plot. So, Achilles weeps over Patroclus, and we see that when Achilles, towards the end of the book, comes to the wise king, when Priam comes to Achilles in his tent, begging for the body of Hector, it's only then that Achilles goes from being described as an animal, a vicious beast, to being described as a king and a man, because it's only when he sees that, Priam wept for Hector the way that I wept for Patroclus, the way that Zeus wept for Sarpedon. There's a song, forgot which artist made it, but it's a song about a friend trying to stop another friend from committing suicide, and I believe it's titled Achilles Come Down, using the story of Achilles as an allegory for suicide. And one of the lines is, "Oh, what a dangerous thing is to love," because in loving another, in giving yourself to another, there's the threat that if you lose them, you lose yourself. And we see this when we look at our Blessed Mother holding the dead body of our Lord in her arms in the Pietà. There's a beautiful Sardinian, I believe it's Sardinian, because Sardinians have throat singing, rare instance of that in Europe. But there's a beautiful Sardinian hymn called Sette Spades de Dolore, or Seven Swords of Sorrow have pierced my heart. And one of the lines is, if Jesus is dead, Mary cannot live either. We see this pattern from the earliest literature, even from ancient Mesopotamia with, Gilgamesh and Enkidu, of, losing one's light, one's hope. And many people will interpret Achilles and Patroclus as a romantic affair. It certainly was possible, and I'm not going to give a judgment on that. That was something that happened in ancient Greece. the extent to which is debatable. But yes, that was a thing. It was usually more pederasty than homosexuality as we conceive of it in the 21st century West. But I think that making it a erotic or romantic relationship really takes away from the beauty and humanizing effect of platonic love, or the love that a son has for his mother. When our Lord looked at John and said, "John, behold your mother, mother, behold your son." So, yeah. But remember, it's a dangerous thing to love, but there is no greater good than this than to lay one's life down for his friends.